What's up guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Robert Rushing and today we're going to do another review on the Range Rover Sport HSC Dynamic. And so today I'm going to explain what that long title means. I'm going to show you why this car is so special, the exterior, the interior, we'll take it on the road, and I'll show you all the features associated with this car. If you like this type of content, please give us a thumbs up. Without further ado, let's get into the review. Just looking at the silhouette of this car, there are a few minute details that are going to show you the difference between different Range Rover models. Now this is the Sport, and the one dead giveaway is this badge right here on the front fender, while the full-size Range Rover has a 4-bar design on the door and then a body line that carries out down the bottom. There are other Range Rover models, but in the MPH Club fleet we have the full-size, long wheelbase, and the Sport. That being said, this version, the Sport HSC Dynamic, I'm going to break down what that title means in a little bit, but for now just know this is a fully blacked out version of the Range Rover Sport. Sport means that this is the supercharged V8. HSC stands for highly spec'd equipment. These cars have a lot more options than the regular Range Rovers. You can have a regular full-size Range Rover and that could be HSC, and then you can have a regular Sport and that could be HSC, but when you see the badge on the back, you know this is spec'd to the T. Moving along to the word dynamic in this car's title, that implies that this has a fully customizable drive mode, and I'm going to show you all of the drive modes in a little bit. With that being said, I want to show you what the engine bay looks like right now. Under the hood of the Range Rover Sport HSC Dynamic is a 5-liter V8 supercharged engine producing 518 horsepower and 461 pound-feet of torque. Inside the engine bay, it looks gorgeous. It has a big engine cover. It says supercharged across the front. This is an SUV slash crossover type of vehicle, but when you step on the gas, it feels like a sports car. Now, let's talk a little bit about the back of the car before we get into all the details of the driving experience. There's a few badges I want to break down exactly what this means. All Range Rover models are going to say Range Rover on the back like this, but Sport is going to tell you the actual model. Now the badges under Sport, you see P525. That means you have selected the highest engine option available for the Range Rover Sport, and 525 is that 518 horsepower, but in metric. Now next to that, you'll see the HSC, which means it's a highly spec'd version of the Range Rover Sport, and the classic Land Rover badge right here. So, back here is 27.5 cubic storage feet. Now when you fold these back seats down, you get all up to 65 cubic feet of storage space. Another cool feature back here is you've got these 2 buttons that will actually control the lift. So say you're trying to pick something up and put back here, this will drop the car down for you, making it easier to do so. And it's cool. Now that it's lowered, you've got a button here to close the tail hitch like any luxury SUV should. And next, let's talk about the interior of the car. This is the Range Rover interior. And right off the bat, you're going to notice the red color. Now this is a special option included in this version, but the Range Rover Sport has a ton of luxurious options included and features. I'm going to go over all of them right now. From my position, you can already start to see some of the luxurious features included in the Range. I'm going to go one by one right now, just telling you what I see. You have these 3 giant digital displays. Now you have your normal dash, your entertainment, and climate control features all right here. You also have a heads-up display being reflected off the front windshield. Other than that, you also have a Meridian sound system. You can see these speakers all throughout the car. And right here, you see where your drive mode selector would be. You also see your big start engine button right here. So I'm going to show you what that sounds like right now. But before I do, make sure you like and click the bell. Sounds good. The fact that this is supercharged, it is a Sport, means this car sounds really, really great. I'm going to give it a couple revs so you guys at home can see exactly what it sounds like. It's mean for like a luxury SUV. Now this is your drive mode selector. You'll hold this trigger to change, going back and forth to go through drive, to neutral, to reverse, and the P up here to park. That's sick. So when you close the door, it'll auto adjust the driving position to be ideal, and you actually can save multiple different driving positions so you have different drivers in and out of here all the time. like a renter potentially, you could select one of these 3 different driving positions or set your own. Let's move on to the next luxurious feature, one of my favorites that this car offers. Under this armrest, you'll have a little slip pad, which is not the feature, but under the slip pad is a refrigerator. So your fridge has this button here in the middle that has 2 blue lights, and it kind of indicates the 2 different temperature levels you can have this. 2 blue lights being as cold as possible, 1 blue light being semi-cold, and clicking it again to turn the refrigerator off completely. Down here as well is 2 USB ports and a SIM card, because this car does have its own wireless signal. It could do your own hotspot on the fly as long as there is signal, and you see it at the top of the display screen on your infotainment head unit. You also have 2 large style cup holders here, a nice display cover if you don't need your cup holders to make your center dash look a little better. And then under that is a hidden storage compartment where you've got quite a bit of storage space down here. Now you also have 2 glove boxes in a Range Rover Sport. You've got this button here. This has a top and bottom arrow. When you click the bottom, it slowly drops, and then when you click the top one, you actually have to lower it like this. So there's quite a bit of space, and there's clicks just like that. We had to take the Range somewhere darker to show you this next luxurious feature that it comes with, which is ambient lighting. When you select this and turn it on, you're going to get a bunch of different colors to pick from that light up the whole interior cockpit. So it's going to start off in red, and you get all the way to the other end, which has purple. Once you select your color, right below that are the different brightness intensity levels and the power button to turn it off. Now, when you do drive into somewhere a little brighter where you otherwise wouldn't be able to see, it does actually turn itself off, so you have to be somewhere darker or later at night for you to actually notice this feature. So not only do you have the lighting on the footboards for the driver and the passenger, but you also have it in accent places like on the side of the door, on the side of the center console here, and even in the back for the passengers in the rear. Now there is a light you can see on the reflection here. It shines down onto your center console, which is pretty cool. And all of it changes with just a touch of this screen. So from back here, you have your own lock-unlock buttons. The door handle is where it should be, and then you have your window up on this red leather trim here, right on top of the Meridian sound system. And I gotta say, I wish I could show off just the quality of the sound system, but you won't really be able to hear it unless you're in the car for yourself. So the back seats here are the same red leather and suede trim that is the same in the driver and the passenger front seats. And these are also heated and cooled just like the front seats, which is a really nice touch. Sometimes it feels like guilty if you're in the front and you get all of these extra luxurious features and your friends in the back don't get the same, but that is not the case in the Range Rover Sport. Now, here you have your AC controls, the same touchscreen type system that's on the steering wheel itself for the driver. Then you also have USB-C ports and a cigarette lighter port. Now this middle seat can fold down, and it looks just like this. You have a nice armrest, 2 more cup holders here, and your own extra little storage space. Now, this is cool. There's actually a little bit of brand new car plastic still on this cup holder, so I'm gonna show you what that looks like to pull it off, because it's super satisfying. That is so satisfying. Car's so new, you get to peel off the plastic. So this is gonna wrap up all the real features that the passengers in the back get to experience, except one last one I want to point out, and that's this giant sunroof. It's a dual panoramic piece of glass on the whole top of this car, and from the back seat it just looks really cool. You see so much glass. It's very open, the lighting's better now. And I think that's going to wrap up. It's a rather pleasurable experience to be both in the front and the back. Like most Range Rover, Land Rover products, it's just a nice place to be. So next up, let's go back to the front seat and talk about the driving experience. So the driving experience is very luxurious and sporty for an SUV. You feel in control at the same time you have power at your own disposal. You do have paddle shifters that are mounted to the steering wheel. They're not mounted to the steering column like some of the other exotics in our fleet, but it is nice to have them here if you want to use your shifters. Now, on the steering wheel itself, there are no clickable buttons. It's like one large piece with different sensors on it. So you can control the menu, which is on your center dash from the controls on the left. And then on the right, you've got your cruise control, setting speed settings, your lane assist, which is really cool. I could select this, and once that turns orange, this is gonna hold me in a particular lane. So now I have lane assist on. It should hold me in that lane. So if it notices I'm starting to veer, it'll auto correct the steering, which is pretty cool. Right under that is the heated steering wheel button. When you click this whole steering wheel will start to warm up. Not that you need that in Miami, Florida, but say you have this vehicle anywhere else where it's cold, this is super nice. The V8 supercharged, which we were showing you earlier, does produce 518 horsepower. And what I want to do is show you what it's like from a takeoff, so you can experience just how sporty a car like this is. I'll crack the window. That hopefully will get a little bit of the engine sounds while we're going at it. That being said, the engine just turned off now because that's one of the features. When you go to your vehicle here, this auto start stop button, you can stop your car from doing that if you want, but what it's doing is it's auto turning itself off to save gas. So we're gonna launch in 3, 2, 1. That's way too sporty to be a SUV crossover. But I don't know from your angle if you could see, we were shifting nowhere close to redline, just a comfortable casual launch. Now what's interesting is the red line goes all the way to 8,000 RPM. That's the end of the meter, which is kind of wild for an SUV, because those are that's like sports car numbers to get all the way up there. But even when you're gunning it, it really feels comfortable between that 3,000 to 5,000 RPM range. Like you're not missing out on a whole lot of the power band by trying to go all the way to your red line. We have our ride mode selected as high, so we have the maximum amount of ground clearance. But if we want to drop this down lower, there's a button right here, where if you click this one time, it's gonna lower down into normal ride height. And that's indicated by a little strip of light in between the two raise and lower buttons here on the left. And if you want to drop all the way down to its lowest ride height, or access ride height as it's called, you just click this one time, it's flashing yellow, meaning that it's slowly lowering. And when it stays lit up, you know you're in the lowered ride height. And then if you hold this button, a little lock mechanism lights up, meaning that you are locked into the lowered ride height, or access height. So, we're gonna do one more launch really quick, just so you have footage of it. Holy. So, no matter what ride height you're in, the suspension system is really nice. It feels the same, whether you're lowered, higher, or in normal ride height. And the handling is smooth yet mildly stiff. It's not as light as a feather. Like when you compare this car to like the really luxurious vehicles like the Bentleys and the Rolls Royces in our fleet, or even the brand new S-Class, for example. Like that is so easy to turn and steer, but this is a good bit stiffer than that. But it is not difficult. It just, it does feel more sporty, which is appropriate for the Range Rover Sport. We are driving through Wynwood, which means there's a little bit of stop and go traffic, and in a car like this, it's still enjoyable. And if that's not a compliment, I don't know what is. This is going to complete our review of the Range Rover Sport HSC Dynamic. Such a long title, but such an incredible car. And I hope you found some value in these videos. If you did, please like this video, subscribe to the channel if you want to see more reviews, more vlogs of our cars out on the road and how we operate an exotic car rental company. Click the bell if you want to see that content. It's very important that you click the bell. Thanks again. We'll see you in the next video.